What's up, comic book fans, and welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me, and today we got more Blood Hunt. This time with issue 2 of the main Blood Hunt series, and this time the Avengers hit back. And if you guys missed any part of the first issue of this series or any other part of this event, then I'll place a card for you right at the top of the screen, and I'll put up a link at the end of this video. But the end of this issue gives us a reveal that I honestly have been waiting for since the first issue of this series. And I'll explain what I mean when we get there. But when we left off with the last issue, the Avengers have been taken down by the new Blood Coven. And we also got the reveal of Blade as the big bad for this series, after Sun Death occurred and the vampire apocalypse had begun. So if you guys are ready to see if the good guys are finally able to start making them a comeback, then you guys already know what time it is. Let's get it. So when we pick this issue up, Thor is strung up, still in the impossible city, with those daggers from Damascene still in his body, and a puddle of blood beneath him that constantly grows, and runes that are keeping Scarlet Witch bound, as Blade basks in his early victory, and as one of his new monsters reawakens. Then Blade asks his new child, "How do you feel, T'Challa?" as the Black Panther is revealed to have been turned and now a new member of Blade's vampire army. And at first T'Challa tries to fight against this change and resist his new master, but Blade's power over him is just way too strong now, and he eventually bends to Blade's will. And now that that's done, and he can now call the impossible city his own, there's still more that he wants. So Blade sends the Black Panther and his Blood Coven back out. He has Blade go to retrieve his prize, which we don't really get to see what that is, so I'm sure that that'll be saved for the Black Panther series. But he sends his Blood Coven to go out and find his daughter. And then we pick up with Blade's daughter, Brielle, aka Bloodline, as she rescues a mother and her young children from a vampire assault. But her partner during this event, the Dark Lord Dracula, feels that there is no time for them to waste on the insignificant. And make sure you guys check out that Blood Hunt playlist at the end of this video for the Dracula Blood Hunt series, which show how these two managed to team up, if you haven't already checked it out. But Bloodline and Dracula have two different ideologies, and to her, they're innocence, not insignificance, and she believes in defending them. But right now, they're vulnerable, and Brielle is the one being hunted. But then the two are caught off guard when they get approached. And before we find out who it was by, although I'm sure you guys can guess who that was, we pick up with Tiger and Hunter's Moon from the Midnight Mission. And as they fight off a horde of vamps, they decide that they need to go and find Doctor Strange for help with dealing with this. But then they're met with Miles Morales' Spider-Man, who also needs to go and find Doctor Strange. And when they get to Strange's place, they're surprised to see him answer the door as a ghost, which we actually caught at the end of the Doctor Strange series last issue. But they fill him in on the hell that's going on outside, and they wonder why he's sitting at home as a ghost. But he brings them in and shows them the reason for that, and the hell that he's also having to deal with. Back with Dracula and Bloodline though, it's the Blood Coven that's come to meet with them. And of course, Dracula is familiar with the top dog of the Blood Coven, Bloodstorm 1, seeing as though he's a clone of Dracula. So when they approach, Dracula demands that B1 kneel before his king. But Bloodstorm 1 does not serve Dracula, of course, so it's about to go down. But just then, this party gets interrupted by the Avengers, as the remaining team members come back for round 2. But this time the Avengers are better prepared for this encounter, and they switch things up. And the first thing they do is to have Vision take their psychic Megrim out of this fight by flying her straight up into the sky, past all of the darkness and into the sunlight. So real talk, y'all, Megrim might straight up be dead already. Like one shot, wiped out. I'm not 100% sure if that's confirmed, but she's looking pretty ashy right now, y'all. But it was the smartest play to make though. because Vision does have a synthetic brain that is close enough to a human one that Megrim can affect it, but now that he's prepared for it, he's able to cycle his brain patterns too quick, so she can't lock on to him. And if you remember in issue 1, the first thing that Bloodstorm 1 did was to have Megrim put up a psychic static around the Avengers before they got their asses kicked. So now without their psychic, Captain Marvel punches B1 straight through a brick wall. It's up now. And Iron Man gets him another shot at the barbed wire and razor wire Cruel again. And Iron Man is also prepared this time, and he activates an oscillating magnetic field that blocks Cruel's metal wires from getting through. Although what Stark doesn't see is Damascene, who sneaks up behind Stark with one of his daggers that can cut through anything. But Vision's got Stark's back as he flies back down and activates a solar energy flare. He's filled with the power of the sun, he tells them. The Blood Coven sucker punched them when they first met, Captain Marvel says. But they're still the Avengers, even at half strength, and she uses her powers to punch a hole in the dark forest sky, opening up a sliver for the sunlight to beam through, sending the mighty Blood Coven scattering back into retreat. And Sam Wilson is pissed that they got away, but Captain Marvel lets them know that they'll take back their impossible city soon and save their friends. But then Brielle tells Iron Man that they have somewhere that they need to be and they can use their help getting there. And then we pick up with Brielle and Dracula, with the Avengers as they arrived at Doctor Strange's house. So it's kind of cool seeing that Doctor Strange's place has become the natural meeting ground for all of the heroes during an event like this. But they fill in Strange on what's been happening, and Strange does the same. And he tells them that they've already begun to gather forces with Spider-Man in the Midnight Mission. And Brielle already knows Spider-Man since Spider-Man had a short arc in his series with Blade and Bloodline right before a gang war had begun. So she's happy as hell to have a friend there, and she runs up to him. But as Brielle gets closer to Miles, he begins to lose himself, and he grabs his face and starts to growl, and then he rips off his mask, revealing that he himself is now a vampire, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the issue. So that reveal is the one that I was talking about earlier on, and one that I have been waiting for. If you guys remember back in issue 1 of this series, we had picked up with Miles while he was fighting off the vampires in Brooklyn, when Blade had walked up on him on that rooftop and told him that he had a mission for Miles. And then we never saw him again in that issue, until the Doctor Strange issue, when he showed up at the end at Doctor Strange's doorstep with the Midnight Mission. But he had never taken off his mask, if you notice, so we never knew what happened, and I'm sure we'll get the full background on what happened on that rooftop when we get Miles' next series issue. But damn, y'all, they're definitely out to prove that anybody can get it with this series. And now it's getting even harder to see Strange assembling that Montesi formula, even though the Strange Academy students right now are putting that together. But with Miles Morales, T'Challa, and the body of Doctor Strange all vampires now, this thing is getting pretty interesting to me. But what do you guys think? What did you think about the issue? And what do you think about this series as a whole so far when you step back and look at the big picture? And is it at least keeping you interested in seeing how it all plays out? But as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel, and you'd like to support this channel, then you could do so by stopping by the Comics Icon store and picking you up some of this new merchandise, including the background music heard right here in this video available for download. Or by joining the Iconic Fan Club channel membership, and it'll be a link in the description to join. But with your memberships, your voice will be heard during our weekly interactive live streams with yours truly, where we can talk about everything that's been going down in these issues, as well as ones that you'd like for me to go over in the future, and other comic book news. Plus, you guys will get loyalty badges, member shoutouts in these videos, and up to 20% off of Comics Icon's merchandise from the Comics Icon store. And now we've got new tiers to the memberships as well, starting at just 99 cents. Or you guys can donate to the channel with a super thanks. And if you're not able to do any of that, then you can still be a tremendously huge help to the future of this channel by dropping a like, share, and subscribing to Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, It's about that time. I'm out. Peace.